Ni hao from Chengdu, China. If you don't know me, my name is Lindsay. I am a student at Otterbein University and I am in China, interning at the Chengdu panda base. I thought I would vlog this trip because I've never really been outside of the country and I really want to be able to document this for myself, for my friends and family, maybe for possible new students, and just for the general public who may find this really interesting. I kind of just wanted to give a little summary of my first week here in China. I'm here with two other students, Eileen, who is also a just recently graduated student at Otterbein University, and then Miranda, who is a grad student at a different school who is doing a research project at the Chengdu panda base. So I am just here in my room. I will give you a little apartment tour real quick so you can see what our apartment looks like. So this is what it looks like when you first walk in. This first room is our kitchen. It's a little small, but it works because usually we just eat out. But we have a little stove here. We have some peanut butter and jelly for quick snacks, and then this is the view from our kitchen. We have our fridge here, a microwave that doesn't work, and a washing machine. The very first room is mine and Eileen's bedroom. We have a little desk here with all stuff on it. This is my luggage, my side of the bed, Eileen's. They are hard as rocks, but anything is better than a half reclined airplane seat. And then this is just a little deck that we have, and this is also just the same view from the kitchen. This is our first bathroom. We have the infamous squatty potty and our shower. This is our living room with Eileen sitting in it. We have two TVs, which we haven't really used yet, a desk, and then this is the view from this side of the apartment. We do have a Western toilet, which is really, really nice. This is our second bathroom. There was a cockroach in the toilet this morning, so that's always great. And this is Miranda. She has a very nice window. And that is the apartment. Everything works. It's a little hot and humid in here. We don't really have air conditioning that works yet, but overall, it's really, really nice. So China has been just really amazing so far. I was a little nervous about customs and the little maybe language barrier and getting around the city and just overall China in general. I haven't really been outside of the country, so this is a pretty big boy to check off the list right away. But it's been really amazing so far. I'll just give a little recap of what the first week has been like. So the first day is kind of not really the first day. The first day is my flight from Chicago to LAX to Chengdu. My Chicago to LAX flight was completely perfect, no bumps in the road. I was a little nervous getting to my flight because if you know O'Hare Airport, it is insanity. I almost missed my flight. I got there just in time and then they ended up delaying it by maybe like 15-30 minutes, which was perfect timing because that would have been a little scary, but it was a really good flight. It was about 4.5 hours and that's the longest flight I've been on, so that was kind of prepping me for the 13-hour flight from LAX to Chengdu, which was good. Overall, it was such a beautiful plane. It was in that like half reclined position for almost 13 to 14 hours. It was a little intense. They have really good in-flight entertainment, which was really cool because I watched a ton of movies. And on the flight from Chicago to LAX, they actually had the movie Pandas, or the documentary, which is actually focusing on Chen, which is a panda from the Chengdu base, which they were trying to release. So it was really kind of cool to see that like introductory video in a way on my way to China. So our flight left LAX a little bit after midnight at 12:45, and then we got into Chengdu 6 a.m. Chengdu time. We actually touched down at the Chengdu airport and we got out on the tarway, I think, or the tarmac, whatever the place is where planes land. But it was really cool. So we got to get off there and see how big the plane was and walk to a bus, and we got all of that figured out. By the time customs and baggage and taxi was all over, we got to the apartment at around 9 a.m. We met Miranda and we kind of just like did our little readings at first and got to get to know each other. And me and Eileen kind of just like rested for a little bit, and that rest turned into a 7-hour nap. So jet lag definitely hit us pretty hard. After we slept for 7 hours, we got up around 5 and we ended up going out to dinner with Miranda and James is our boss at the Chengdu panda base. So we got this wonderful dinner. It was the first food that me and Eileen ever ate in Chengdu. And Chengdu in the, Sichuan province in general is known for really hot and spicy foods. And That's true. The first meal was super hot and spicy, and it took a little bit of getting used to, but it was so good. I don't think I've ever had food like the food I've had in China before. Like, Chinese food in America is not Chinese food in China, which is probably a really obvious statement, but it's so good. And it was really fun to kind of get to know Miranda and James and kind of what they're doing and who they are and why we're all here. We kind of just walked around a little bit longer after dinner, and we actually went out to a little supermarket. I tried durian for the first time, which not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. You always watch these videos and hear these stories of people throwing up or gagging or just hating the smell of it and the taste, but I actually thought it wasn't that bad. After that, we just ended up saying goodbye to James and that we'd see him tomorrow because Monday was gonna be our first day at the Panda base, and then we ended up just taking the metro home. The next day, Monday, is our first day at the Panda base. We didn't get up to much at the Panda base because it was our first day, so we did a lot of paperwork, we got our IDs, we got our lunch card, and we also went on a tour. So Miranda has been there since around April, so she gave us a little tour of the base. And not a little tour, actually a pretty big tour, because the Chengdu Panda base is huge. And it was the first time that I saw live panda bears in person, and it was amazing being able to see so many panda bears like in singleton paddocks, and you know, with 5 or 6 of them all at once and just climbing and eating. It was so amazing. They're so freaking cute. Can't wait to just continue working with them. So the first day at the base was just amazing. It's beautiful there. We were so lucky to get a really nice sunny day the first day because it rains a lot in China, and it's also pretty cloudy here. While we were walking around the panda base, we got to see obviously pandas, but they also have red pandas there, and they also have a place called Swan Lake. So we ended up kind of just taking a little tour of the place and really getting a feel for the area we were going to be working at. Afterwards, we ended up coming all the way back to the apartment, which is about a walk, a metro, and a bus away. I ended up going to the local Walmart, and yes, they have Walmart in China. It is a lot different than US China, just the layout and the food, and it's in a shopping mall. It's not just a Walmart. And then after Walmart, we ended up going just across the street to a local noodle place that is so good. We kind of made friends with the owner. He kind of took us back to the back of the shop to make sure that we knew what we were getting, because our Chinese is very rough. The communication barrier has been a little hard, but overall it's been really not as bad as I thought. The third day at the Panda base, we worked on identifying the pandas there. So the Panda base has over 100 giant pandas. We kind of just practiced on how to identify pandas, whether it be how small their eye spots are or how long their eye spots might be, if they're curved. We also looked at the black band they have that goes around their back and whether it's straight or if it like kind of pinches or it bulges. The black arms and legs of the panda, or I guess just the legs, are like a straight black, or if it kind of fades in, or if it's gray, if they have a black chest, if they have a gray chest. There's a lot of different color markings that you can look at to identify pandas, but it's very, very hard because all pandas look alike if you don't know them. After that morning, we went to have lunch. We have lunch every day at the base, obviously. But then me and Eileen ended up kind of walking around because Miranda went off with James to do some work. And we ended up touring the Butterfly Museum and the Panda Art Museum. Then went into the Panda Art Museum. And that was just really interesting because they had some historical things alongside the art there. And it was just kind of really nice to continue making our way along the base and seeing what we're kind of getting ourselves into and what we have at our fingertips and what's really available to the public. So after that, we ended up kind of walking around. We went back to our apartment, got Miranda, and we went out to eat. The mall here is ginormous. It's like 5 or 6 stories. There are so many like different wings in those stories. And we ended up just going to none other than KFC. Not very exciting, but I promise we've been having Chinese food for every single meal, so I promise I'm getting the culture and I'm not just relying on American food. Fourth day at the Panda base was really our first day, just kind of like getting used to our schedule and really kind of just falling into what we were actually doing. So we spent the day observing pandas, making sure we were able to identify them the same day as we were before so we can get used to what we might be doing for our research project. We were able to watch our boss actually train a panda, and it was really interesting to see that training dynamic and how they work together. together and how smart pandas really are. That was basically kind of our whole day, and then me and Eileen ended up going home a little early when we ran into another friend of ours from the panda base who invited us to dinner, and we decided, you know what? Why not? We were expecting maybe just kind of like, you know, a little sit-down place, but we ended up going into the city and we walked into this beautiful restaurant, like the fanciest restaurant I've ever been in, and we ended up getting tea for like 2 hours, and then we ended up having dinner, and I have never had a food spread as big as I did at this dinner. I can't even remember how many different platters were there and how much food we had. There were so many different kinds of pork and chicken and fish and soup and dessert, and it was just so much. And the atmosphere was beautiful, the service was amazing, the food was so good. Then the next day was just amazing. We ended up going to Dujianyan, which is a field research base of the China panda base, but it was a beautiful drive because we ended up driving through the mountains of the last little bit, and it was just really nice. They do obviously more field research, as it's in the name, but they work a little more on releasing and doing more research out there. And they're actually opening up a new experience for guests, which is going to be an open enclosure of 25 red pandas that are just kind of free roaming. As we got there, we kind of just did another tour around the place, got to know the pandas, and this facility is beautiful. It's up in the mountains. The scenery is amazing. There's not as big of crowds as there are at the original Chengdu panda base. So you're kind of just in this nature walk with pandas and red pandas, and you hear a waterfall and you see birds flying, and it's just all green mountains, and it's really beautiful. We got to help distract red pandas, which honestly, dream job. Me and Eileen had the opportunity to try and distract red pandas while they were training them so they could train them. I hope this is all making sense. They're not as soft as you would think they are. They actually have pretty coarse fur, but they're so cute, they're so sweet. We were feeding them apples, we were kind of distracting them, we were helping them get used to taking food out of hands and not biting. I can't even describe how amazing it was to just like sit down with red pandas and learn from James how to train animals in a proper way. It's really interesting to see how quickly these pandas were catching on to climbing up trees or lying on their backs so they can get used to their stomach being felt for ultrasounds or, you know, vet trips. And they were picking up on things so quickly, and it was just so interesting to see how they worked with their trainers and the relationship that they have with them. And the 6th day of our week was Friday, the last day of our work week at the panda base, and it just kind of went like any other day will probably go, where we just came in, observed the pandas, make sure we are identifying the same pandas, having lunch, taking a walk around Swan Lake, and just identifying more pandas. That was kind of our work day. Me, Miranda, and Eileen ended up taking the metro into another part of Chengdu, and we went to a restaurant called Mike's Pizza, which so good. I'm gonna say this after everything I eat, but all of the food here is so good. But we've been mainly eating Chinese food throughout the entire week, so we thought, you know what, let's have a good Friday night and just have some real good American pizza. I'm from Chicago, so I have Chicago deep dish quite often, and there's really nothing that can compare. Sorry, New York. But this pizza was really good. I'm not a thin crust person, but Mike's Pizza is the exception. And we ended up having dessert, which, so good. We got monkey nuts, raspberry cheesecake, a baked apple, some type of turnover, crumpet, something. Whatever it was apples and oatmeal and ice cream, and it was so good. Real good comfort food after a long day at work, after a long week at work, and a long week of Chinese food. So then yesterday, which was Saturday, we ended up going to Jinli, which is a very big marketplace with a ton of vendors, a ton of different gifts and trinkets and amazing food. It was the first time we really got to experience kind of traditional Chinese architecture in a way, just because where we're at, it's very much just the city and apartment buildings, but here we got that little bit of Chinese architecture with the lanterns and the roofs and the walkways and the walls. Just everything was so beautiful. It was very crowded, but that didn't really make a difference on anything just because it was so cool up. The market was huge. It kind of just went in this like huge square or circle with a ton of different little pathways for you to get lost in and find new places to go. The food there was amazing. I had these like little dough balls that were a little bit sweet with some sesame seeds, and then we ended up having some ice cream later, which was in some type of like waffle cone, but it wasn't a hard cone, it was very soft. Then we ended up coming upon, I think, was a wish bag shrine, so to say. So you would buy a wish bag and you would write a little wish for yourself, whether it be for love and marriage, safety, wisdom, health, you know, all these little things that you would hope for yourself in the future. And so you write down your wish on the card, you put it in the bag, and then you hang it up somewhere in the park. And there are so many wish bags around there. It's just, it really is beautiful because you see all these red string hanging, you see all these colorful bags, and you see just how many people are kind of wishing and hoping for something. And I know that might sound like a little cheesy, but it was just really, really beautiful to see all of these little bags hanging up with people's wishes around them. We then just kind of kept walking and we just kept shopping and seeing all these different things. And there was beautiful water walkways, there were bridges. There was just really beautiful buildings. Everyone is so nice. And there was one point where me, Miranda, and Eileen were just walking to get where we're going, and this just whole group of like 20 Chinese children just ended up coming up to us and running and saying, "Hi, hello, 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 hi." And they were just so excited to see like Americans. And it was so sweet, it was so cute. They make you feel so special. There have been quite a few times where people will kind of just take a picture of you and hope that you don't notice, because I guess it's not every day that they see white American people. I don't really care. I just think it's funny that they're all kind of sneaky taking pictures. So me and Eileen have just kind of started taking pictures back with them or taking pictures with them. Then it comes our last day of the week, or I guess the first day of the next week, which is Sunday, which is today. And this morning, me, Miranda, and Eileen went out to brunch at Grandma's Kitchen, kind of more of a Western restaurant, similar to Mike's Pizza. We had amazing jelly toast and eggs and sausage and ham and bacon, and it was just a full spread. China in general is just amazing. We've gotten to know so many people at the base, and the people of our apartment complex who are in charge of letting people in, the local vendors down the street who we often get little buns from. It's really nice to kind of get used to this community and really just be engulfed in the culture and kind of just start living another part of my life, which is really, really exciting, because I never thought that I would ever go to China. And being able to have this opportunity from my school and the Chengdu Panda base is honestly just a dream come true and a once-in-a-lifetime experience. I'm hoping that through these vlogs I will be able to document my time and really just see how much I grow and get to share these amazing experiences that I am lucky enough to have. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, I would love if you would like, subscribe, comment, share it, all that good stuff. I know you hear that from all other type of YouTubers, but it would really, really mean a lot to me, so I can really kind of share this experience with as many people as possible. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.